There are no immortal gods. There are no immortal souls. Nothing exists except atoms and the void.
The whole notion of space and time is probably not really fundamental.
So information is going to be our starting point, and space-time is not something that we start with.
So recent experiments led by the group at the University of Vienna, Austria, provide the most compelling evidence yet that there is no objective reality beyond what we observe.
The universe is effectively a quantum computer. In fact, not even effectively, actually is a quantum computer.
The quantum idealism movement first started with a random video challenge to an atheist. 4 years, and many videos later, the idealism movement has grown beyond my wildest expectations. I am now in Los Angeles working on my master's degree at Biola University with the aim of injecting quantum idealism into the mainstream apologetics scene. As part of this endeavor, I have begun to write a book for the idealist movement entitled God of the Matrix. God of the Matrix will survey some of the best arguments from cutting-edge physics and philosophy of mind for idealism, as well as their applications to numerous other topics, such as the nature of the soul, the afterlife, universal teleology, free will, miracles, a derivation of the Christian story from idealism and privatio boni, and so much more. The quantum idealism movement has great potential, but don't take my word for it. Hear for yourself in the words of my mystery endorser. So I have Professor Moreland here, and I'd like to ask him a couple questions. Well, what do you think of the whole quantum idealism movement?
It's very interesting, Johannan. Of course, there are certain worldviews that Christianity rules out, like strict materialism. But in the history of the church, there have been several worldviews that have been well within the bounds of orthodoxy in Christianity, and one of those has been idealism. George Berkeley was one of the first to formulate in modern times a very careful version of this. And what I'm finding is that more and more Christian theologians are finding idealism attractive and are moving in that direction. It's not a majority movement yet, but there's clear signs that more and more are thinking about it. Now, what I find encouraging about the quantum idealism movement is that it is providing, at the deepest levels of scientific investigation, metaphysical support for this general worldview and idea. And the quantum idealism movement is showing that materialism is really not even worth being considered, and that reality is mind-like. In fact, it's actually based on mind to begin with. So I find this very congenial. And I say to those who might not be idealists that we should cheer for this movement and encourage it, because there's big enough room within our faith to have different metaphysical models to explain the world, and we should keep this one on the table and encourage our brothers and sisters who are working in it.
Thanks. And what do you think of my book project, God of the Matrix?
Well, I've known you, Johanna, now for a good while, and I've come to love you and to admire you a great deal. You are a very, very bright young man. You love Jesus Christ, and I believe that over the time we've known each other, I've heard so many good ideas that have come out of your mouth. And I say to you, well, write that down. Well, I've got it on video. Yeah, well, I'm saying write it down. Well, it's time for you to write these things down in a coherent way into the form of a book. And what that will do is it will get your thoughts shaped together in a larger package, and then you can send it out and have people read it. And some people are going to be excited and maybe push it further. Others will raise critiques, and you can respond to them. I think it's a fabulous idea.
What do you think of the quantum idealism movement in the context of the larger apologetic scene? Like, what do you think its future is?
Well, I think that the apologetics scene has got to be careful that it doesn't limit its approach to one metaphysic or another. When you do that, that's risky, if you don't have to. And what I'm suggesting is that the apologetics movement in the future needs to be generous with a couple of 3, 4 options that we could use to formulate our apologetic. Now, it may very well be that one of these will meet the needs of some people, whereas The other one will meet the needs of some other people. And I'm not suggesting they're all right, because they may contradict one another. But I am cheered by the idea that we should be developing these models, and I think the quantum idealist movement has got great days ahead for dealing with, especially with a certain range of atheists that's really interested in the science.
Would you endorse my channel?
I would be delighted to endorse your channel. I've seen so many of your YouTube posts and the things that you've done, and they're always high quality. They're very professionally done. I was frankly, the first time I saw one of yours, I was thinking it was going to be fairly hokey, because you're a bright guy, but I did not know you had artistic ability. And I was shocked to see that the music in it was great. The pictures, the bringing in of different themes was professionally done. And you know how to do this. And I think it's really good because it's another way to reach out and to get people talking about these things.
Well, thank you, Professor Moreland. If we can take our movement to the next level, the sky is the limit. However, graduate school is not cheap, and I will need your support for this endeavor. Having just topped 6,000 subscribers, I have decided to launch my Patreon account. If you would like to see the quantum idealism movement break out of its infancy on YouTube and enter the world of mainstream Christian apologetics, feel free to donate. Rewards will include copies of God of the Matrix, as well as e-copies of my science fiction series, Alaris, including its not yet published second installment, Alaris, the Pearl of Heaven. Thank you for your support, and God bless. Help support the idealist insurrection. Together, we can overthrow atheism.